BeamNG Drive has 123 scenarios and 130 time trials. Some are difficult to complete, but one has to be the hardest. That time trial is Quarterway Enduro. With over 25 kilometers of track, it is even longer than the Nürburgring, and significantly more dangerous than the Green Hell. It is an achievement to even survive this track, let alone speedrun it. This track has every kind of obstacle you've seen before, and some you haven't. Not every vehicle is able to complete this track, obviously. So we need something special. In the description, the track recommends a normal-sized car with 215 horsepower and a skid plate. Well, there's nothing much we can do around a normal-sized car, but we can find ways around other suggestions. Eventually, we decided on the Hirochi Sunburst, and also to make some minor modifications. Things like weight reduction, bringing the front wheels in a couple centimeters, a roll cage for added rigidity, a 2-liter flat 4 nitrous-infused engine making 30 psi of boost and 850 horsepower, some aero I think we stole from the IDR, and a silly paint job. But I did say this is a speedrun. It helps to have a monster on your side when either the physics hate you. While you're on the track, you need to pay attention for what color it is. Each color means different things, and there are 5 main colors. First is orange, standard. Just treat this like a normal racetrack and you'll make it right through. Red means that the track is going to try and troll you. Things like loops, to debris, to rough roads, things like that. Brown means that the surface is dirt, so hopefully you're Colin McRae or can just drive sideways. White means that the track is now ice, so just deal with it, I guess. And the hardest part is black and red. This surface is extremely grippy and will send you onto your roof if you're not paying enough attention. So now that we know how much of a beast this track is, how do we drive it? We start off by driving in a, they've turned around. And now they're jumping the track? Well, I guess a different kind of track requires a different kind of driver. That's right. Within the first 20 seconds, we've done a skip that saves over a minute. To do it, you just drive and aim for the red road, then when you hit the lip, jump off at 150 kilometers per hour. You can also use some air control to help yourself land better. Then once you land, do a quick 180 and get on your way. While it may seem easy when I say it like this, I still only have about a 1 in 3 chance of getting it, and even then, a lot of times my front left suspension will collapse, so you need to be very careful and a little persistent to get it. Now that you've survived the first checkpoint, just follow that orange road, drive quickly and use racing lines to save time. Eventually, you'll get to the narrow tube. Slow down and relax. Take it safe, and the tube is actually really easy. Next, you just go up the hill. I recommend a max speed of 85 kilometers or 50 miles per hour at the top of the rise so you don't get flung into space. Up next, we have another loop into a hairpin section. I recommend using a handbrake turn for that. After that, we have another hill, so slow down so you don't get launched off the track again. Then we end up with a second narrow section. Don't worry, this is the last one. Next, we have the biggest troll of the map, a rise into a bunch of debris. Stay in the middle of the road and then go to the right through the ring. You should survive it. After that, we have a very fun loop and wall ride section. Just keep your foot down and you should be able to get through it with a lot of speed. Then we have another jump, so reduce airtime so you can keep your speed up. And after that, we have another wall ride into a hairpin corner. Make sure you slow down and don't hit the wall. The next part is some nice easy driving with a little bit of debris, but don't worry, it's not in the racing line. Then you get attacked by a red road while you're on an orange. Yikes. And then another drop, so make sure you know the drill, slow down to reduce air time. After that is a hairpin corner, so unfortunately we don't get to use all that speed that we got from going down there. and then you power up the hill to the next section. Said next part is filled with dirt. So while we do have slicks on, there are some tricks we can use to get through this better. First of all is drifting through the slower speed corners, like a rally driver. The next trick we use is actually with the jumps. Since they're made out of asphalt, we can use to drift onto them to end the drift faster and get more speed through the section. After that, there are a couple bars blocking your way, so be careful about that. Into a bank and loop section, and after that, the Giga Loop, the biggest loop in the map. After you get through this tunnel, you are into the hypergrip area, the hardest part of the map. As it turns out, having more grip is not always the blessing you would hope it to be. Sometimes, it sucks to get exactly what you asked for. Since you have so much grip, taking a tight turn will actually make you tip over, as there is nothing keeping the wheels from leaving the ground, just landing against it. The only way to survive the hypergrip area then is driving as smoothly as possible. And if that wasn't enough, you also have to survive the squeeze. To get through the squeeze, the optimal speed is around 110 to 115 kilometers or 70 miles per hour. You need to drive straight through the middle. The easiest way to aim then is follow the red lines on the ground and driving straight on the middle one. If you're able to survive that, then you have the upward spiral, so make sure to drive as smoothly as possible so you don't tip over. And if that wasn't enough, there's another squeeze. Remember to aim on that red line, and hopefully you will survive this one too. If you manage to survive the hypergrip area, there are several miscellaneous obstacles before you get to the next major part of the run. First up is this wall ride thingy. Make sure to keep your speed up and stay on the high side of the wall to avoid falling off. After that, you have a jump section. Remember earlier when I told you to slow down for jumps to avoid airtime? You can break that rule here. Since the jumps are tabletops, it is easiest, fastest, and safest to just gap them and land on the downhill, so you get one big jump instead of two small ones. After the gap jumps is the ring jump. The optimal speed is 145 to 150 kilometers or 90 miles per hour. This late in the run, your car will be falling apart, so make sure to pay attention to what parts of aero your car still has. The most likely scenario will be missing your front splitter, but still having your rear wing. In that case, your car will violently pitch up. The easiest way to correct that is by hitting the brakes. There's more information on how to do that in my last video. After that, there is another hill, so time to get back to normal and slow down to avoid airtime. Then there's just a couple corners to our next section. Now that we have our final non-power max section, the ice. It is like the dirt where you have less grip, but even more so. The best tricks we use to get around these ice corners are being like rally drivers and initiating them with a Scandinavian flip by turning the opposite way of the drift and then flicking it the other way, so you can get a drift entry without using the brakes and losing any of your momentum. Then there are some corners with concrete tubes sticking out of the ground. Like in the dirt area, we can take advantage of those for extra grip, even though they are really rough and dangerous to drive over. Then we have another section covered in debris. Go under the overhang and then slow down as there is a blind drop that will send you off the track if you go too fast. Once you get out of the ice, you are onto the straightened, a very long, not quite straight, bumpy section. You can drive pretty quickly through here, but you will need to handle bumps and drops that you won't see until the last second. Then, at the end of the straightened, there's a jump into a bar blocking the left side of the road. Just stay to the right of it and you should be okay. Then there's an orange road with a bit of debris and you're into the final obstacle, the upward spiral complex. This is likely where you will use the last of your nitrous. Put your pedal to the metal and then you will get through this final obstacle, then end with a loop and a couple bank corners. After that, you make it to the finish line, and you have completed the hardest time trial in BeamNG. Wow, it looks like you have also completed this video. Make sure to do the normal YouTube stuff, like liking, subscribing, and commenting something more interesting than the word first. If you thought this video was cool but didn't like me telling you what to do, you can watch the full run in the description. If you want to hear me tell you what to do, you can come over to Twitch, where I will be speedrunning and trying to break this world record. See you there!